BizBeat, the insight you need. Chinese economy surged 18.3% in the first 3 months from a year ago, the highest quarterly growth ever recorded. The strong performance was partly due to a low base, the 12, in the same period last year when the country was hit by COVID-19. Compared to 2019's first quarter, the GDP growth rate was 10.3%, which means the 2-year average growth rate is at 5%. But let's look beyond the headlines for more clues about the trajectory of the world's second-largest economy. China hopes to boost domestic demand as part of its dual circulation strategy, and positive trends are seen in the latest numbers. Consumption lagged economic recovery and is now steadily picking up. The total retail sales of consumer goods in March increased 34.2% year-on-year. Among them, accommodation and catering industries that were hit hardest during the pandemic look back on their feet. And for the first time, March's catering revenue was higher than the same period in 2019, returning to pre-pandemic levels. Meanwhile, imports in March increased 27.7% year-on-year, outpacing the growth rate of exports for the first time this year. And this suggests domestic demand is constantly strengthening. China's continued supply-side reforms are underway. The industrial structure is optimized, with production and investments of high-tech industries outpacing the average. The utilization of industrial capacity reached its highest level since 2013. First quarter logged 77.2%, which means more outdated capacity has been eliminated. Meanwhile, the service industry continued to be a major driver of economic growth, contributing to 50.9% of GDP growth in the first quarter. China is continuing to support enterprises, especially SMEs, to weather through the COVID-19 crisis, using a combination of tools such as tax cuts and financing support. Newly established enterprises saw a steady increase in the first quarter. Meanwhile, the expectation indices of manufacturing and non-manufacturing PMI both reached a high in March at around 60%, indicating upbeat business morale and positive economic outlook. China's ability to manage the COVID-19 crisis and recover the lost ground of its economy has contributed to world economic recovery. As the first major economy to emerge from the pandemic, China's humming manufacturing sector, vast consumption market have become key stabilizers of the global economy, which grounded to a halt due to the unprecedented crisis. Now, first quarter economic data indicate strong momentum for China's economic recovery going ahead. Although the headline figure will certainly trend lower as the low baseline effect fades, the economy remains well positioned to report solid growth for the year and beyond.